Alright, what's up everybody? This is our Fidelity Digital Conversation. We are Group 3 from Section 3 in e-marketing. My name is Corey.
Caleb.
Adam.
Gabrielle.
And we're going to get into it.
So, our design challenge for the class was how can we help millennials establish better financial health and wellness associated with their student debt. As college students, this is something that we all have a particular involvement in, and we're going to try to help our future peers. For our team, we decided that how can we help current college students better understand how to effectively use loans to finance college is something that we want to try to help.
So the foundation of our project was the research, and we interviewed students and parents, which were a part of our target market. And parents, because a lot of times they are in charge of the students' loans. So we conducted 20-minute interviews, collected the demographics, just made sure that they actually took out a loan, and asked them in-depth questions along with follow-ups as the interview went on. And we did record this interview. And the main topics that we covered was the college financing process, taking out loans, repaying loans, and financial habits. So for example, asking questions about the loan process before, during, and after college, as well as who you went to when you had those financial questions, and are you a good saver, and do you budget your money? So for that research process, once we conducted the interviews, we also transcribed all the interviews since we recorded them. So collecting them in a transcript, and then once we had all that data, we pulled out the insights for the different interviews to see which were key elements of what was repetitively being said from interview to interview.
So after we did all this research, we transcribed these interviews and we turned them into insights. We had a few categories, and it really boiled down to one key component of these students and their loans, which was students were a lot more uninvolved than we expected them to be, and they had a lot of parental involvement. With that being said, there were still a fair amount of students who did work a couple jobs here and there and have to save up money for their own loans, and they took care of that by themselves.
So to discuss some of our personas here, we have Coddled Chris, who is a 20-year-old male student who really doesn't have a grasp as far as being financially capable of paying for his own college, as far as tuition, housing, things like that. His parents kind of help him with everything. He has a good GPA, however, he just kind of flies under the radar when it comes to being knowledgeable of his own finances. We also have Self-Sufficient Susie, who is a 20-year-old female. She is involved in working several jobs, about 20 hours a week. Also pays for her books, housing, and sorority dues, so she's a bit more understanding of how expensive college really is. So for the social footprint, Coddled Chris, he uses Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, LinkedIn. He kind of just keeps up with social aspects, his friends, things like that. Also uses LinkedIn for his professional relationships, for job searching, things like that. Self-Sufficient Susie uses Instagram and Snapchat, basically just to reach out to social media as well. Her friends keep up with things like that, so in current events on campus and things of that nature. The persona opinion leaders, so for Coddled Chris, we have his mom and dad, obviously very heavily involved in his life when it comes to finances, Mark Cuban, and also his friends. His communities, you can see the golf club, extreme ski club, very expensive hobbies that most likely he's not paying for, so his parents help him out. So Self-Sufficient Susie, opinion leaders would be mom and dad, sorority sisters she's involved with, and also professors. Yeah.
Alright, so with all that being said, I'm going to go over some of his tendencies and his activities, along with his pain points, which are pretty important. So, some of his activities, he's got poor budgeting skills. He doesn't really know where to spend his money. His overdraft spending, he's got a credit card, he is taking money out that he doesn't have, and he's paying interest, and that's not helping his financial situation. Financial literacy, kind of in the middle. He's he's an educated person. He comes from a good family, but he doesn't have a full grasp of what he should be doing. And so his pain points. This could be a problem with millennials, and this type of persona, a big one for the future. Now, he says he doesn't need to know about what he's doing. So not only does he not know, but he has a feeling that he doesn't need to, which could be that could be a big struggle. He's also overly confident in the fact that his parents will take care of him. So some of Susie's activities and her tendencies. Her financial literacy is right in the middle again, kind of like Chris. She has a general understanding what to do, but doesn't really do it. This is a problem. She doesn't have a lot of time available, so she doesn't have time to learn about what she needs to learn about. And her spending habits are also very poor. So some of her pain points, this is kind of for the persona of their parents aren't as involved. She feels like she's on her own. She worries she won't get a job high paying enough to pay loans off over the next 10 years. And she's a psychology major, so this is maybe a little realistic. And she also overexerts herself when it comes to work at school.
So going through our project and looking at what we were trying to accomplish for Fidelity, some of the guiding principles that we have followed through with was students need to increase their financial literacy. They need to be able to know what they need prior to going into college. So this starts in high school. And then moving on to the loan awareness, students need to know what kind of loans they need once they're in school, how much loans they need, and what is the right amount for them so that they don't have trouble then paying them off after school. This constant communication is critical for the student's success, as well as having a relationship with the lenders and the students that feels like they're mutually benefiting one another. So going into our journey map, we started our research by looking through our personas and the insights that we gathered from our interviews with students, and we organized this information into a chart and then a buying funnel to try and streamline the process and figure out what would be the best way to figure how the students are going through this thought process and how we can best meet them at each level of the process to better fit their needs and to help them get this intelligence and knowledge surrounding loans and the funding of college. So we have each process going through. We have our exploration process, our financial opportunities, our consideration, and then on the next page we have evaluation and liability. Going through each slide, we notice that in the beginning it starts off, students need to know, can they afford school and what are their education options? Meeting them at this level, we realize that students may need to better figure out how they can afford what different college and what location. And this is an opportunity for Fidelity to provide different tiers of schools based off of their ACT scores and their financial ability to better improve the search process. We continue through with their financial opportunities and going through then to liability, which is most important for students and often most stressful, is how to pay back their college finances and how they can save their money once they have a job in order to best fit their need. Our research showed that students are stressed when it comes to loans, and finances in general are stressful for these students. So being able to eliminate this fear on the students by enabling Fidelity, we can make sure that this knowledge is given.
So the buying funnel, we had 5 topics to express the process of loan obtainment. Each step has an underlying theme for awareness from both the client and the student. So this is a visualization of the buying funnel. You can see the 5 big topics are exploration, financial opportunities, consideration, evaluation, and liability. So most of the goals throughout this, the persona goal is to get as much money as they can and leverage that money and use it wisely. Throughout all 5 stages, the client goal relatively is to educate the student to the point where they're set up to get through college, get a degree, and be financially stable enough to pay them back. So some conclusions and recommendations from the buying funnel and the journey map. We see that it's important to take time to consider all options. Sometimes what sounds like the best is not the best. Recommendation for the student: if you apply, get accepted and use loans, set up a repayment plan as early as you can. Budgeting your money out early and setting up that plan really helps you have an understanding of what you need to do and how to get there.
Okay, so some innovative concepts that we discussed that we thought were very helpful moving forward. Lender-sponsored seminars for high school students would be huge. Being able to allow them to have seminars teaching them different things about moving forward in the applying process, searching for schools, financial processes, the whole nine. Mandatory lender meetings, just to allow them to, again, be more familiar with what they're getting themselves into, as well as self-evaluation template. So to allow them to be able to actually kind of have a feel for what's coming next around the corner with applying and financial backgrounds and things like that of college moving forward. So what we just overall discussed and agreed on was it just needs to be more of a hands-on basis as far as allowing these students to become more literate with the whole college experience as far as financing. So for the creative concept and stage storylines, we have what if Fidelity chose the most affordable schools for you? So that'd be kind of some people don't get overwhelmed with choosing their own school as far as whether it's just the size of the school, how much money it's going to be, what's the best fit for them. So just speaking financially, if they could actually choose a school for you, would maybe take some of that stress away from the students. Stage 1, we have Susie's looking for the best academic school that is within her budget. Stage 2, Susie gathers information and tries to figure out how much financial aid she's eligible for. Stage 3, she begins working and makes a plan for budgeting and saving money for college. Stage 4, Susie reviews different types of loan options and picks the one that is best suited for her. Stage 5, Susie meets with the representative and figures out a repayment plan. So these are all just kind of our stage line, obviously, stage by stage, finding that whole process of applying to the school she wants to go to.
So based on those stages with the buying funnel and the storylines, we developed several touch points for each stage. And these are social media platforms and other media platforms that can reach our target customer. So for example, for the exploration stage, if someone searches for a Google ad, we'll have that, or reaching them through Fidelity emails. Or in the evaluation stage, we have sending out an article through an email. So several touch points which will be covered also in our plan here. And to be a little more specific, for the financial opportunities stage, we have a Facebook touch point with Facebook videos, articles, and customer reviews. And Susie, the persona that we chose to develop this map for, she would be searching for options, different school options, and looking through Facebook to find financial information. And the conversion for that would be to get Susie to like that Facebook page to gather more information about that. Another important point was in the evaluation stage, when the student is evaluating those loan options, day 85 touch point would be sending out an email. So when Susie's identifying the need to take out the loan, and now she's like, oh, how do I do that? So the conversion would be to get her to read those instructions for taking out a loan. And I would say one of the most important touch points would be in the liability stage, where you're trying to help Susie acquire timely payments for post-graduation. So touch point for day 105 would be to send Susie an email for the Fidelity website. And that's where she's looking to pay off her loans with a low interest rate. And the conversion of that would be for her to meet with an advisor to determine a monthly payment from that touch point. And for that for that touch point for the liability stage, we have a landing page example, and that basically covers what Susie was looking for low interest rates, minimizing your student debt, and assisting in post-graduation job search stuff. And the conversion would be to get her to sign up for the email there, or getting her to call a representative or start a live chat so she can get those financial resources. And we also have a loan calculator here, and just promoting overall how you'll experience that financial freedom.
Alright, so you stuck around this far, thank you. So conclusions and recommendations we have for Fidelity. Recommendations, we urge them to be more proactive, mentorship rather than just a service for these students going into college. We recommend to segment financial planning to the current state of their career and the next state, and help prepare customers for what they may or may not find out in the future. And conclusions that we found through this, Fidelity must focus on providing instruction about their finances during the college search rather than while they're in college. And like self-sufficient Susie became relatively knowledgeable about her financial and loan information at each stage, but she wasn't really prepared for what the future might throw at her. And more expenses came up than she had anticipated, so maybe being more prepared for that would help her, and more choices were financially driven than previously assumed. That's just some stuff we found. Our appendix, we inserted some more, all of our slides are in here, but we didn't necessarily talk about all of them, so more than welcome to kind of see our thought process and where we put what we were thinking, everybody.
So in summary, this has been our presentation. Feel free to go through each and every slide. We just try to make it concise enough to hit the main bullet points, but obviously all the information we provided is available to you.
So we have a lot of stuff in the appendix. We have the spreadsheet and some of the numbers that you couldn't bring into a boardroom. So we appreciate you listening to us, and we hope that our presentation had some valuable insights. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.